Hi guys, welcome to video 3 of our Fun Gun Dog games for general pet dogs. This is our stop whistle drill, so if you'd like to check out something else then we'll film a little bit of that later on, but check out video 1 and 2 of what stop whistle is, how it works and how to go about training the first 2 games. This is our third game using a placeboard or a mat, as you can see on the floor here. We're using this as quite a nice drill for dogs that aren't so agile or quite into chasing, if that makes sense. For dogs that like a bit more obedience work or generally have positive associations with a mat, okay? Some dogs do, some dogs like sleeping on mats, some dogs sleep on them at night, some dogs choose to sleep on them during the day, other dogs have no idea what it is. We're going to use a dog that isn't so associated with a mat, let's say, and just show you how to build up some positive kind of feelings towards the mat itself and then link it with the stop whistle. So how we're going to do it is using 3 different techniques, so luring, shaping and capturing. Luring is where you get the dog to follow a bit of food with your hand and get them to move their bodies in certain ways to get a position that you wanted. Capturing is where you get them almost to do their own thing, so you almost leave them at it a little bit. If they offer a behaviour that's desirable, you then reward that behaviour. So you don't cue them, you don't ask them to do anything at all, you let them work it out themselves basically, and then if they offer it, you reward them, okay? Shaping is a way of building up to a behaviour, so if a behaviour is a bit complicated, like a set position or like a stop on the mat, then you might shape it up a little bit and kind of go in segments towards the end result, okay? So 3 different ways to train a behaviour in. We'll hopefully be able to demonstrate all 3 and see what it looks like and how it works. And then we'll show you how to build up the on the mat behaviour to working towards the stop whistle. So primarily we'll ask for the dog to go and settle on the mat, and just before they do that we'll blow the stop whistle whilst they're on the mat to then get the stop targeted. The great thing about this game is that the stop actual cue happens when they're on the mat, and the mat gives them a bit of a texture difference so they can see when they're on and off the mat as such, to really create a nice static stop rather than a movement stop. So if your dog is one to kind of creep on the stop whistle a little bit, like we mentioned in the first few videos, that might happen with those kind of high arousal games. This should be quite low arousal, so in that way your dog should be more settled and more calm, and you should get a nice kind of solid stop rather than a kind of frantic stop. Okay, so we have Taz here, lovely Staffy cross, so he's a bit older than Humphrey. She has no idea what the mat is. We have done a little bit of mat work with her in the past, but yeah, she's not familiar with it as such that she'd target it on her own back. So all I'm going to do is pop the mat down on the floor, okay, and see what she does with it. If she kind of offers a behaviour like a stand on the mat, or if she does anything, yes, good girl, I'm going to reward her like that. And this here is capturing, so I'm capturing a behaviour, yes, good girl, of her naturally offering a position on the mat, be it a stand, sit or kind of down as such. She's quite a big dog on a very little mat, so there might be a few paws off. That's one thing to mention. With placeboard work and things like that, you want to really try and get the dogs all the way on the board, if that makes sense, so they don't know what it feels like to have one paw off a bit. But because of this situation, all I'm asking for is position on the mat. Good girl, yes. I'm really making the association there. So any behaviour she offers, Taz, good girl. Any behaviour she offers in relation to the mat, I'm going to reward. Tazzy, quick, quick. What's this? Tazzy girl, that's a good girl, well done. So always positively associating her behaviour on the mat. Notice that when she's off the mat, I'm not giving her any indication that what she's done is good. I'm merely asking her to come back basically. And that then creates all the reinforcers happening on this mat basically. And that then makes the mat super valuable and super rewarding. And with that, I'm kind of allowing her to reproduce the behaviour more and more and more, and reinforcing it more and more and more. And therefore that love and desire staggers up and up and up. And that makes her really want to target this mat in a positive way and love it, okay? So all I'll do now is let her spend a bit more time on there as I'm talking to you guys, intermittently feeding her to build some duration, possibly asking for a sit with a hand signal. Good girly. Always rewarding for this lovely contact onto the mat. And then when I'm ready for her to break behaviour, free, yeah, nice, walk away myself and get her to follow me. That free word is super important to allow you to give her the cue that she's finished the behaviour, not her give you the cue, if that makes sense. And then now I'm going to show you a bit of luring. So all I'm going to do is get her to follow some food. Yes, nice. And see what she offers. So all I'm going to do is change the way I'm moving around this board as well to ensure that I'm not blocking her access basically. So if your dog is struggling with this, it might be that you're in the way of then finding the actual target itself. So have a little go at moving around and seeing if that affects your dog's willingness to make contact with the board itself. And again, free. Yeah, nice, well done. So now I can say my dog will safely target this mat when asked, with the luring, shaping or capturing, okay? With the shaping, all it would be is my dog showing increments of going towards the behaviour. So that's quick. Nice. With shaping, all you're doing is rewarding increments towards the mat. Because you already showed interest in it, we didn't really need to shape it in at all. It's just more a case of building positive associations. So what I'm going to do now is start to cue it alongside verbally with my hand signals. So, Jessie, come on then. Ready, ready, ready. Good girlie. So lure it a little bit. Mat. Nice. And say the word mat as she goes onto the mat itself. Tassie, quick. I think she needs a toilet. Tassie, quick, quick, quick. Come, come, come. What's this? Ready, ready, ready. Ready? Get it. Get it, get it, get it. Training live, guys. Mat. Nice. Yes, good girl. So verbally saying the word before she does the behaviour for me to link it up with the behaviour, okay? So, Tass, quick, quick, quick. What's this, good girl? Ready, ready? Right. What's that? What's that? Yes! Mat. Nice. So every single time she lands on the mat. Tass, quick, quick, quick. Ready, ready, ready? What's this? Up, up, up. Right, come on then. Quick, quick. Right in. Good girl, Mat. Nice, well done. So every single time she makes contact with that mat, I say the word mat and I reward her, okay? So now what I'm going to do, you ready, ready? This way, quick, 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 quick. Come on, Tassie. Tassie, come. What's this? Ready, ready? Going to fight it? Fight it, come on then. Good girl, yeah, nice. I'm going to lure her onto the mat and add my stop whistling just before she offers the behaviour, okay? Mat. Come, come, come. Mat. So with any element of dog training, there is a point where your dog may get distracted or may not be able to cope in the environment. So as much as I'm a positive reinforcement style of trainer, there is an element of control and management involved in it as well. So if your dog is struggling to stay within an environment, before having to correct them, it's always easy to control and manage them. So I could see that Taz was getting a bit wild, bless her. She was enjoying the freedom of being out and about in the garden itself. And we have just built a new pond in the corner as well. She quite likes the idea of going into playing. So having a little lead on her just kind of keeps her with me without me having to constantly call her back again, without having to kind of step in while she's doing the wrong behaviour. I can just keep her with me, if that makes sense. So what we were doing before, Tess, quick, quick, is asking her to go onto the mat and using the stop whistle or the stop cue itself before she offers the behaviour of staying on the mat. So with that, of course, every time I say stop whistle, you can add in the stop cue, so verbal stop, and I'll just show you that now. Tess, quick, quick, what's this? Ready, ready? Stop. Yes, good girl. So rewarding her for sitting on the mat and offering that on the mat behaviour. So, mat. Stop. Nice. So cueing that verbal mat and then asking her to stop afterwards. Come. Good girl. Ready? What's this? Good girl. Ready, ready? Are you ready? You coughing? Do you want this? Good girl. Mat. Carrots flying everywhere. You get the gist though, guys, don't you? So, ready, Taz? What's this? There's one here, look. There's one here. Let's find all the carrot on the floor before we go. Ready? 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 Oh. On the mat. And stop. Yes, good girl. So, just before she sits or lies down on the mat, add in the stop cue, okay? You may notice that she defaults to a down. That's absolutely fine, okay? Whatever your dog naturally prefers position-wise, I'd accept. So what we generally say with stop whistle or stop cue in the gun dog world is that we want our dog to be steady to this cue. So by steady, I mean enabling the dog to stay in that position with distractions without failing to without failing as in moving off of the stop place. Does that make sense? So if you can imagine a dog that is steady would be a dog that is like Taz is now, and would stay there if something was to fly past her or to roll past her or to move past her. So she wouldn't move from that position until told otherwise, basically, okay? And the reason why we like an actual sit or a down for a stop for a younger dog or a more inexperienced dog is because if that dog was inexperienced, they might not stay in that position. So if they were stood up, they might have the tendency to creep forward and to move their leg. And it's a lot harder for a dog to get up off of a down or a sit to go into a run, if that makes sense, if they're in a down or a sit, than it would be if they're in a stand, okay? So that's the reason why we like a down or a sit in the early stages of stop, just to get the nice steadiness and to get the static stop. And then if you want to progress, you can ask for a stand or just accept a stand to quickly move off from the stop, okay? So that is in a nutshell. We'll end that video there, I think. So luring onto the mat, asking for the mat cue, using a verbal mat cue, and then stop just before the dog offers the behaviour of sitting or going down on the mat. So as you guys know, training is never ever quick and simple, okay? This dog had never ever had familiarity with what the mat was, doesn't know a mat target, doesn't know stop cue itself that well yet. We've done a few games with her, but not enough to say sure that we'd say stop and she'd stop, okay? So for that reason, this video's only probably been 8 or 9 minutes, so we haven't got an actual behaviour yet, we're just building up to it. So if your dogs are quick learners, they are targeting mats already and they are stopping already, we can absolutely start to proof the behaviour. So by that I mean when they've got to a stage where they'll accurately, off a verbal cue, target a mat and then stop on the mat, we can start adding in what we call 3Ds to this behaviour. So distance, distraction and duration. So distance being distance you are away from the mat. So you would see me right then, I was pretty close to the mat, wasn't I? You know, my dog was, you know, quite close to me as well. I was no distance away from this mat target. So to make it harder, or to improve the behaviour, increase the criteria, let's call it, I start to move away from the mat myself and ask my dog to go towards the mat from a distance, okay? So up the criteria slowly, so offering short distances and then increasing the distance as we go along, okay? That's an idea to proof it. Another way we can proof it is duration. So I was doing a little bit of this with her in the beginning, so duration onto the mat itself. So what I'd say is, send your dog to the mat from a distance and then stop them and ask for a little bit of duration. So don't reward them after, you know, immediately, reward them after a period of time, okay? And then there's distractions. So can your dog go onto the mat on target, stop on there with your hand signal and stay there while something else happens in the background, okay? Those are your 3Ds. The really, really important thing to figure out with those 3Ds is they can be changed, okay? Never ever put them all in one sequence, okay? So I would never, for the first time, send my dog from a distance, ask for duration, and then have a ball flying past my dog, okay? Ensure you do it slowly and gradually, so maybe ask for distance first, and no duration and no distraction, then build up slowly. Does that make sense, yeah? Have a think about that for me. As I said, not every dog is the same. Some dogs will take this really, really well, some dogs will take a little while. Some dogs are very excited by training, other dogs are less excited. So if you are struggling, think about why, think about what you might need to change. Is it that your mat isn't kind of big enough? Is it that the mat isn't kind of textured enough to notice a difference? Is it that your dog isn't interested by your motivations, by your rewards, okay? For this dog, we use carrots, which are quite motivating for her. Other dogs might just need kibble, or they might need something more intense and potent, so probably cheese or ham, okay? Or even a ball target, does that make sense? So have a think about what motivates your dog itself and how to get them to work around you. As I said, with Taz, carrots work, but distractions do happen, so she does kind of enjoy having a good run around and being a little bit of a, headless chicken, bless her. So at that point, we control and manage, pop her back in the lead, and then went back to training. So if it is going a bit wrong, take a breather, have a bit of a relax, let your dog switch off, and come back to it. I should say, guys, with any sort of duration behaviour, there comes a lot of pressure as well. So for a dog like her, she loves running around, she loves investigation, she loves sniffing. So me asking her to sit for a duration is quite a challenging behaviour. For many working type dogs as well, you'll find this quite kind of an important thing to think about. For dogs that are more settled and calm, would probably find duration quite easy. So with duration, I'd probably only say do 1 or 2 reps of duration behaviours. So ask your dog to sit for a duration only twice at max, and then do something completely different. So like we mentioned before, scatter feeding is quite a good one to do. So if your dog's had a lot of pressure built up, allowing them to sniff and investigate the floor with some food on the floor is a really nice thing to do, just to let them go, I'm okay. Does that make sense? Then go back to it afterwards. Just give them a few kind of attempts of relaxing and then going back to it, okay? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Any questions, give me a little shout in the comments below. Phone me, email me, whatever you want to do. Have a go, see how your dog takes to it. If you do find your dog's loving it, you want more, come say hi to me and I can help you out with a bit more kind of information. This is our end of our stop whistle kind of games. We've only done 3 games. There are more games out there, but I'd say for now, that'll be enough. Have a go at home, then come to me when you're finished and I can tell you how to kind of get it more focused. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day and I'll speak to you soon.